Okay, let's start then. Okay, so the aim today is to talk about payments associated with groups. Two types of payments. One is payments to actually join the group, to become part of it. And the second one is what we call subscriptions. Other people call something different, but subscriptions, which when you are already a member, you could pay on a regular basis to continue to be part of that particular group. So start off with payment groups. So these are groups that you need to pay to actually join. And right, so the first thing you need to do if you want to offer a group that you want people to pay to join is you have to switch it on. You have to switch it on in systems details to make it become an option. And that is called payment groups, I think. Well, so here we have so it's a switch there, so you switch it on to do it. And obviously, if you don't want people to use that feature, then you can switch it off, and therefore it doesn't become an option when you try to set one up. The second option is whether or not the group leader can. No, sorry. The second option is whether or not you take card payments for those groups, and that's called group card payments, which is this one. Yes and no. And the third option then is whether or not you allow group leaders to take payments over the phone from their members. And that's this one, GL group payment. So there's three there. There is also one for direct debit, which I'm not going to sort of go into today, but you can also have direct debit. If you've got direct debits set up, then you can take the payments that way. And that's another option. So once you've decided you're going to allow group payments, then the thing to do is to set up a group. Actually, before I do that, there's one other thing you need to decide, and that is whether or not if you're going to allow card payments, which one are you going to have a special account for groups, and you do that inside payment options, and you can So here I've got three groups set up: one for membership, two for and one called groups, and one called events. And so those are three different Stripe accounts, which the money will go into if you allow payments. And then when you set up a group, which we'll do now, you decide which one of those accounts it goes into. But we'll come to that in a moment. So. Add a new group. You've got the blue cross in the top there, and then you select standard registration or payment, and it will only come up. The payment option will only come up there if you switch that switch on. So okay, straightforward really. I'm just going to call it. Just something to call it. Point a leader. Make me. You've got your coordinator, as in a normal group. You've got your venue in your normal group. Generally, these are sort of possibly one-off events. So you need to put the date of the event in the start date. So we'll just say 20th of November, and if you put the 20th of November in the end date as well, it will form this thing to say it happens on this particular date. Just as a default, just set weekly, because it doesn't matter if you've just got the one date there. And the day of week will default to whatever you put as your day at the top there. So that's just the same as normal groups. Now you've got to decide how much it is going to cost to join this group, and whether or not it's just a single cost or whether there are multiple elements to it. And so if it's just a single cost, you'd enter the value in the total cost. If there's multiple parts to it, which the person can opt for, then you check this box here, check if group optional payment charges, and now you can have up to 2, 4, 6, 8 different elements to it. So you probably start off with the base charge, whatever that's going to be. You can call it what you like. Let's say £50, and then you might sort of add some other things, like a single room supplement of £15, and you can have as many, you can have any up to 8 elements to this, and that becomes the charge, or the charges that will be available when they book. The next one there is whether or not it's going to an event where discounts are offered, and if it's a National Trust place or RHS or whatever, you can click on National Trust, let's say, and say you get £5 off if you're a National Trust member. So this effectively will, if they go for everything up here, £65, but they'll get £5 off, so it'll cost £60 if they take all those options. So you can see now that the total cost, you can't put that in anymore, because you don't know what the total cost is going to be, because it depends on what options they take. So the next thing is to say, when has the total cost got to be paid for by? So let's just say the 18th and do you want a deposit before? Do you want something before that date, just to confirm that they're going? So let's say you put, I don't know, £10 in, you want a deposit, and they must have paid that by the 1st of November, for instance. And the next element is you've got to decide which one. So if you are offering credit cards, which one of the accounts, my Stripe account and also account within the system, is going the costs and income is going to go into, and you do that with a drop down, which you can't see, but so the three groups, which are the 3 accounts which we looked at in options earlier, come up on here, and then you select one. So let's say I put it into events. Category, well, I don't know, out and about, whatever. Obviously a description of where you're going. And then all the rest of the items down below here are items which are in the standard group, which we've dealt with previously. So we just sort of say it's a payment group there, and make it live. And okay.
Chris, I think there's one point to note there. Once you've made it live, you can't alter any of the options.
Well, I don't think that's entirely true.
Isn't it?
I think
Oh.
it's once somebody has made a
Is
payment.
it? Oh, right. I know I've fallen foul of it.
Yeah, it's the first time. I think it's once a payment has been made, or sorry, an application has been made.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's once you've got a member in the
Is
group
it?
there.
Right. I didn't notice that subtlety.
Yes.
Before you go any further, Chris, there was something there that I'd never seen before. Can you go back to the options?
You're going to talk about instructor costs, aren't you? Well, it's new.
That's why I've never seen it before.
That's right. Yeah, it's down. Oh, it's something that Laurie has developed it, and we put it into the system. This is in version 14.2, and it's well. Do you want to explain what it is, Laurie?
We, with our venues, we also have occasionally instructors, like for Keep Fit, and we wanted to be able to account for them in the finance side. So as well as venue costs, we wanted to be able to account for the costs of the instructor. Simple as that.
And so then you can report on it and things.
Yes. Now I don't know how many other U3As actually use paid instructors. I know that Crew do, but their charges are bundled in with the venue costs, I believe. Is that right, Neil? Yeah.
We've only had one, and we've no longer got that one. I can't remember exactly how we paid it.
Yeah, that's what we do, Laurie. We bundle it up, sort of the venue cost and the instructor cost as well.
But presumably, you get 2 invoices.
Yeah, you will get 2 invoices.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, rather than pretend that we only got 1 invoice, we want to do it so they're identifiable as separate items. Yeah.
Right,
We've got probably a dozen groups like that.
Right. Okay. So this is if your treasurer sort of pays those invoices. Okay, Laurie. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Laurie developed this bit, did all the programming for it as well. So it's a sort of do-it-yourself bit, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah. I'm sure there are bits of it that are hanging loose that need fixing, but we'll see how it goes.
Right. So going back to the setup then, Chris, if you go back to the pen and paper icon at the top.
Yes.
If you would, perchance.
Oh, can I just interrupt? It is a switch, isn't it, Chris?
Yes.
It's a switch. So you unless you turn it on, you don't see it.
No, that's right. It's
right.
So now you've got the payment group set up with its base charge, the single room supplement, the discount, final dates for payments, and you can see that it's because you put the start and end date the same. It will just say date of event is that date, so you can apply for it here. But let's go to somebody else and let's get them applying for it.
Hang on, sorry, was that just the display that the instructor cost disappeared? It wasn't at the edit page, was it?
It wasn't on the edit page. On the amend, it wasn't.
Well, the reason it's not showing is it's empty. There's no instructor cost, so it won't show it.
On the page, yes, but
yes,
on the change, it should give you the option to add it if it's if you've forgotten to put it in first, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'll check that.
Right. Okay. So I've now let's go into. So I've gone into somebody else. Theo, I've gone into, and so they can apply for the thing on from the group there from the group. Now they get the option now to the base charge is fixed. They don't get an option on there, but you've got check boxes against these other optional items. And so if they want the single room and they want the discount, they just click the box and then confirm the application. So that now says, right, okay, so the total cost you're going to pay is £60, and we want £10 from you for before the 1st of November. So yes, okay, Theo's happy. So now, so if we go back into the group leader. Obviously, an email, these things will have the same thing as normally. An email have gone to the group leaders saying there are Theo's applied to join, deal with it, sort of thing. So so now instead of before on a standard group where you said where you just accepted them as members, now you've now got the thing to, if you want to, provisionally accept them. In other words, they're accepted subject to them paying. And so you can see if you click on the £60 here, it gives a breakdown of what they've opted to pay for, what options they've taken. So it can either be that, so it could well be that Theo sent his money along as well, cash or check or whatever, and so you click on the already paid. But if they haven't, then clicking on provisional sends an email back out to Theo saying pay. And so now Theo has the option. He will either be able to pay on the side menu, which we'll come to in a minute. The email will have a link enable him to pay. He can pay from my payments in my information. He can telephone in and talk to the group leader, and the group leader take it over the phone if you've switched that option on. He can do it from the group list, and he can do it from inside the groups. There's loads of ways that he can pay. So let's go log out and go
Before
back
you
in.
move on, too late. I was going to ask the question, but never mind.
Oh, go on.
On that page that you were on just now, you had 2 credit card icons. If you go back to it. Right, he's now got 2 credit card icons: deposit paid and fully paid.
Yes.
If Theo turns round and says, right, okay, I can't be bothered with mucking about with this deposit, like I want to pay the whole lot in one hit, would you just hit fully paid, or would you have to do them as 2 transaction, deposit and then fully?
No, I'm 99% certain you just pay so it's pay the balance, which actually is the full value.
Right.
So
Okay.
well, we can go through one in a minute. Yes. So
Okay.
Let's go back. Let's go back to him doing it, and then we'll go back to the
Okay, Chris.
reader doing it in a minute. Yeah. So we'll log out, log in again as him. So now you can see because we opted for it to charge it for an events one, it's come up with an events payment here on the left hand side. So you can pay it here. You can go into my payments. Sorry, yeah, my payments, and it's listed down here as a way to get to pay, or he can go into the group. There's loads of ways that he can do it. But here now he has. If you click on the side menu one, or the one in the email, you end up here, and so he can start off by just paying his deposit, or he can pay both at the same time. And if he does this becomes a multiple payment, which we'll have a look at in a minute. So confirm, and then the usual
Chris, at Peterborough, we don't use payments, as you're obviously aware. But if you'd done that, would that mean that there would be 2 lots of transaction charges from the provider?
What you mean? Because there's 2 items here?
Yes.
No, that would it will take 1 item of £60.
Okay, thank you.
So this is where you can actually use link payments as well, and so you can pay as many items. If the partner's going as well, there might be 4 items there, and you can link just pay it all in one transaction. That's what becomes a multiple payment, which, as I say, I'll come back and have a look at in a tick.
Thank you.
Right, so there is now that takes round about a minute or so or 30 seconds or so to process, and so we'll go back in. Go back in again. Right, okay, so there we go. So we're back in our thing now, and back in this again now. So that's now processed. It's showing that the payment's gone through the £60, and then you get a breakdown, a cost breakdown of the people. There's only 1 at the moment, but we can add some more. So if the group leaders, to his brother. If the group leader's doing the addition on behalf of that, it comes up here and gives them the same options as before. And you've now got the 2 here, and now you go through the same process of provisional. And now, as you say, now we're back where we were before, Alan. So if we have a look on fully paid, so if they phoned up, it comes up to the full £65. So
yeah. Okay, question answered then.
Yeah. So that's the application process. It's telling me there's actions because that hasn't come back yet as a payment yet. Right, so the system will send out reminders when both the deposit is due and when the balance is due, and it's sent out 7 days before to anybody who hasn't paid. We've got this usual thing on the end here where if their link expires, they can click. The group leader can click on here and renew the email link for them. You can remove people here, and you can decline people here as well. So,
Chris, if the clock has gone red and you renew that by clicking on it to turn it back to a green clock, does that send another email with another link?
Yeah, I think so.
It does. So it's the same. It's the same as the renewals process.
It must. Yes, it's the same. It's the same process. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Right. Okay. So if we have a look at 6, Theo Browning again. So if you, what you get here is, here is the payment that's been made for Theo Browning for his £50 and his £10. So you get your individual items there, but above it you get a single item which is a multiple payment. So this is the £60 multiple payments, which is basically the payment for those 2. But it could be that there are 4 items in there, and they're paying for somebody else as well. So in which case, so if you click on there in the multiple payment, you'd have all 6 items listed there under this, and only 2. He'd have his 2 items there, and the 4 items or the other items would appear on the other person's information. So it's just showing a breakdown of the strike payment that's been taken. Right. Okay. So I think that's probably payment groups. Have I missed anything on payment groups? We'll go to subscriptions then. Let's have a look. So for subscriptions, subscriptions work on groups that already have members. So if we look at this one here, currently this speed walking group has 5 members, and so if they have to pay, I don't know, let's say a quarterly amount to be a member of the group, then we use the blue circle here with a pound in it for group subscriptions. So this one's already had a group subscription, but we'll set up a new one. So this is now, we're now going to take the 3-month period from January. (2025), and we'll say the due date is the 31st of December. So, right, so okay, so you've set it up. Now you've got to decide who is going to get charged this amount. And you've got 3 options there, which you can't see because it's a drop down. One is all members. So in other words, if you say I want all members, then it will include those. Or you can have 1 member, which you can select here, or you can have several members. So in other words, not all, but so let's start off by putting all the members into this new charge. So everybody's going to get potentially charged for the £30 that it's going to cost. The bottom option here, exclude from accounts. This is you can still this basically doesn't take this subscription. This really is for the group leader to manage themselves, and anything they do is isolated to the group, and therefore it doesn't show in the group accounts. Although you can still pay by credit card, but it doesn't show in the accounts if you do this. So we won't exclude it. We'll include it in the accounts. And it comes up here with 4 icons. The first one is the members, and there are all the 5 members of the thing. Now let's assume that George has phoned up and said, no, I can't do my speed walking for January. I don't know when I'll be back, so just exclude me for the moment. So so you can take him out at that point. At this point now, you can still change any of the details if you want to. Obviously, you can delete it here, and then you've got the green tick here at the end, which is if you click that as being there, that, if you like, sets the thing in concrete, if you like, and raises the charges inside the system once you've said yes. So it will obviously now send out emails to everybody to say, we want 30 quid from you, and they have the same options for payment, you know, that we've talked about before. So you can see here that we've now got the four people. We left one out, so there's only 4 here. And so we'll go back. If we go back to Theo again, then we'll log out. Have a look at Theo. So it's now up here saying subscription payment for speed walking, £30, which in the same way as before we can pay. Right. Okay. So he's paid his money. So we can see now that he's come up as paid by card. So the system. Now it could be that the money you're getting is not by card. You know, someone's handed you some cash or whatever. So the group leader here can record that through, let's say, Megan here can and she paid cash. She paid her £30 to the group leader, and so that now records that as a payment by cash. So at this point, you can cancel it if you want to, if you click the wrong person, and it will stay like this until. So this is there's £30 sitting in the system somewhere, but not in the bank yet. So the paid into bank, this payment will be sitting in paying into bank, and it will stay like this until it's been paid into bank. So if we now go to paying into bank, there it is. So if we now pay that into bank, and so it's gone in with a group of other payments into the bank on this reference number. Disappears from here, and then if you go back into the subscription details, oh look now then, and now this thing has changed here, so no longer can you cancel it because it's actually gone into the bank, and so you can't do, the group leader can't do anything to change it at this point for that, because it's gone, and they can't reverse it because the money's been paid. If you want things like, if you want to do a refund of that £30, you have to do the refund through the payments side, through Megan Parker's payments thing. So if we have a look, just have a quick look at that. So here's the £30 here, and at this point here, you can, if you wanted to refund it, if it's the wrong person, but the chances are it's gone into the bank. So there must be there's a pretty strange reason if you want to refund it, but you can do there. So okay, so we go back to subscriptions again. Now, it could be that you've got this person, George, who said he didn't want to commit to it at the start, but you know, he had a bad leg or something. But now he's decided he wanted to join from February onwards. Or you can add him later to this group, to this subscription. So if we now select it here, it will only offer you the people that are in the group. So it would only offer you the one person. So you can't add somebody who's not a member of the group here, but you can sort of say, oh, well, look, he's coming in later, and we'll charge him 20 quid instead of 30 because he's missed a month. So you can change that now. Now you can add a new one. So you've now got an additional person here, and it shows in brackets the fact is that they're paying less. So So if now he phones up and pays, you can go through this there here, and so this is the group leader can take the money. It will arrive in a bit. I did notice it went to actually Megan Parker rather than George Cardy, but not quite sure why. But you'll have to look at that. So that's the subscriptions. What I didn't mention was there are switches for this as well to switch this on. There's a switch to switch it on and off. There's a switch to allow credit card payments. There's a switch to allow direct debits. There's an entry to decide which account. So we showed those counts, those three accounts at the start, members, groups and events. You can you set in systems details which one you want subscriptions to go to, and there is also a switch to decide whether or not you allow the group leader to exclude the item from the accounts or not, whether or not that item comes up. Otherwise, it is assumed that everything goes into the accounts. Right. Okay. So I think that's probably basically how it works.
You know me, Chris, I'll always have a question.
Good. Go on then.
We don't use payment groups and what have you, or the subscription side of it in the system. However, there's an historic reason for us not doing it. But I have a question. If you use card payments for subscription groups, etc., you obviously would want the payments to go into a separate account from your membership account.
Yeah.
Okay. But what detail is fed from Stripe back to the bank? How would the treasurer, if they were looking at our bank account, how would they be able to decipher which groups or whatever the payment has been made for? Do we know?
You can't find, well, yeah, you can find out in the system because you know which.
Well, they're in the treasurer's dashboard.
Yeah, well, yes, but you need to know which. Look to each. I think what you're asking, Alan, is about how let's say you do it on a weekly basis and it transfers £1,200. What's the breakdown? Yes. Right. So, well, obviously, you won't get a breakdown from on the bank account side. So you get a bank account, you get a breakdown on the system side of things. So you can look at each individual transfer, which is, I think, what you're saying, isn't it, Neil?
Yeah, well, I guess you can see the Stripe log too. It tells you who's paid what.
Yeah. Yes. Although it doesn't say if you're looking for what actually ends up in the bank account. I've got what's the breakdown of the 1,200, but that comes in from the treasurer's dashboard, doesn't it? I think, doesn't it?
Let's let me look at some of these.
Is it? No,
well,
it's
all
not.
ours are in separate accounts, so you'd know they were subscription payments, from which account it came from, which Stripe account it came from.
It's the same. You've got this, which you use, I guess, Alan, because of your membership side.
Yeah.
You've got your transfers here.
Yeah.
You click on there, and that gives you a breakdown of the transfers that have been provided. So you've had a payout of 2 payouts here, and that breakdown. Well, you get the same for everything. So you get the same for there wasn't one on the treasurer's dashboard because there hasn't been a payout of that. but you get a payout. Once you've had a payout, you get something like this. So you see,
Right.
so this is, if your £1,200 is there, actually it would be, there's the transfer value 164, because it would take off the
Yeah,
fee.
take off their fee.
Yes. So and then you get the breakdown. So yes.
Right. Okay.
So
And
you
that-
do you use that is for the at the moment for your membership to get the breakdown?
Yeah. So let's. I'm thinking of a scenario whereby, let's say, I mean, I know that Jan's on the call, so this will sort of be something that she'd want to know about. Let's say we had, I don't know, 2-day trips running at the same time. 1-day trip going to Oxford and 1-day trip going to, I don't know, Hunstanton on the coast. So they got 2-day trips going where payments can be taken at the same time. Okay, so one's 1 week, one's the next week, but they're taking 2 lots of payments. How would the treasurer know? Let's take this figure here of £164.06. There might be £50 of that is for the Hunstanton trip, but the other £114.06 was for the Oxford trip.
Yes, that's all right. Well, but look, if you look down here, there's a breakdown here of subscription payment, 105. It's not. I don't think it's a very good description here I put in, but you can see £97 from Keith Jones. In fact, all these were from Keith Jones.
Right. Okay.
So you can. So if you want to, you can see the. If you remember, it'll only go through a multiple payment. So if they paid 3 or 4 in one go, it will show here as a multiple payment, and therefore you then have to go to Keith Jones and you go to multiple payment and you get your breakdown there.
Right. Okay. All I was thinking, Chris, is there any way that the treasurer, if they went in there, could go, right, okay, this is the payment that's come from Stripe, so it's an online payment, but I want to know by clicking a button. So
just show,
have 2 links, one for Oxford, one for Hunstanton, and he'd click on Oxford, and it'd say, right, these are the payments out of that £164 that are for Oxford.
No, it's not going to do that. It's going to show you the constituent parts of your £164. If he wants
Right.
to know, if he wants to know how much of Oxford's been paid, then he can go into the group and get the financial breakdown inside the group.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
you can see it in the treasurer's dashboard, the whole group with every individual payment.
Alan, if I'm sort of getting your drift, I think you're looking at where we would have 2 separate groups set up anyway. So if the member wanted to pay for 2 separate groups, we would just enter the payment in each group separately.
For each group. Yeah.
So
Right. What were you saying, Neil? Because I'm.
No, I was just saying that what Chris is showing, you can see what with the status of the group there.
Right. Okay. Da-di-da-di-da. Charges online payments. So in this particular period, you've moved.
Well, I think if you wanted to do a period, I think you'd have to do a report, Alan. You could
Right.
just leave him a blank with the, so you can just put the group number in, and it would give you, whatever period you chose.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
By analysing the payment table, that's got the bank account information. In other words, what payout it came out from. It's got the group number. It's got the subscription number. You can do all those
and
things.
all the dates. So you could
All the
yeah,
dates,
for
so
the period, yeah.
Yes, so you can look at all the payments and analyse them any way you want.
Right. Okay. I suspect there's probably a way that we could do some kind of a report here.
Oh, yeah.
As I say, we don't use it at the moment, but we're in the throes because we had our AGM on Saturday. We've now got a new treasurer.
Yeah, I mean, if you could make the report so you could leave the group number blank and then have the constraint on the date, so it could be automatically do the last week or whatever.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
I've produced reports for our treasurer for the past 60 days
Yeah.
for these sort of things.
Yeah.
Group by ordered by group and days and
Yeah.
so on. So
Right. Okay.
it's perfectly feasible.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Okay. So I think that's probably subscriptions and payment groups, they've all got emails which fly in behind it and reminders and such like. Subscriptions have got reminders in there. Actually, subscriptions, once you get to the due date, you can set a number of days, and therefore I think it sends up to 5 reminders after. If you say 10 days, it'll send one on the due date, it'll send one 10 days later, 20 days later, 30 days later. It'll carry on sending them till it's paid.
Only 5. I wanted you to do that till it was paid. I wanted you to get sick of them.
Well, they certainly would with that anyway.
Well, no,
yes.
I've got a report now, so I can get them personally.
Right. Yes. Okay. So if we haven't got any more questions on that, the other things that I had to cover today was a question on authorities. David asked about the secretary authority and the contact authority, about what they did. What they do is the secretary authority. If you give somebody secretary authority, they're not an administrator, but they do have access to certain pages that they can change and update. Things like the committee page, the documents page, the forms page, the library page, the links, the newsletter, the paying into bank, and the document store. So if you like, all the sort of admin things of a U3A, the secretary can get in and change, but they can't go into systems details and change anything as far as the system's concerned. The other one was the content authority. I don't know when anybody's ever used it. I can't remember why we put it in, but what that does, it gives access to systems details, to a section or the sections of systems details you decide to give it to. So in this particular, if I look in this one, content. Anthony Brown has got access to, and if we look in, log out and then log in is Anthony Brown. He has got access to. I'll do it first just to make sure I'm not. No, go away. So he's been given access to additional web pages, but you can add other sections if you want. It's to do, you do it in the. Go back. So if you go into the section list. So the content, whoever's got content gets access just to that one section. If you wanted to add, obviously, to add another section, like, I don't know, labels or something, you could update that like that. So if we go back out to log him in again, it's 200. No, go away. So he's now got 2 sections. So it's a way of giving reduced access. And I think the idea was that you'd have somebody who is perhaps setting up some of your additional web pages. They're not an administrator, or a secretary or anything, but you can just give them access to that, and that's all they get access to, and can update those web pages.
Yeah, it's the flexibility of it, basically.
It is, yes, that's right. You can do what you like really with it, but it's there. Right, okay. The other thing I had on the list was data storage. Laurie, we were talking early in the last week, I think it was. Well, it must have been last week because it's Monday. We were talking about whether storing information or using Google Drive to store information, and then rather than store it in the system. One, because you've got workspace accounts and you've got bags of space there, and if you've got lots of data to store away, it's probably a good place. And you can get links from Google Drive and put them into various pages in here, so you can still give people access to it without actually storing it in the system. I don't know what people do. Do people use?
I've done it quite a bit, Chris.
We do a bit of mix and match. I must admit, it's a bit sort of ad hoc.
Yeah, but it's a way of storing your data without without blowing the website, really, because
Yeah, I'd actually been looking at actually having the links in U3A Web rather than in Pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've used data for 12 links or something, or 8 of the 10 links.
Yes, you've got links. Yeah, there's 12 there, isn't there? But that, I assume that only does that get that you can use, you can look at folders as well rather than individual pages, can't you? You can give access to, can't you, through that?
Oh, you can give access to. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can share folders and all the contents within them. Yeah.
Are you saying that you actually change the link address of these additional pages to be a Google link, or you put the links in the content of the additional page?
You've got a in the horizontal menu setup. Is it there? I think it is.
Yeah. Menu view. Yes. Horizontal menu.
You can actually add a so you can put links into. You've got
Oh,
10.
you can put them in there, right?
And they then become menu items. Which
How do you control access?
Well, you can give it to visitors not logged in or logged in, but no,
You can't restrict it to committee members, for instance. I mean, that's the advantage of using the library, the
Yes.
store.
no, you can't. Not at the moment.
No.
That's obviously that's possible if somebody wanted to do that against a particular link only available to a particular authority level. You could probably do that quite easily by putting it on the end here,
Right.
if
Okay.
that was something and somebody was interested in.
Right. That's an alternative way
Well, it
of
certainly had
thinking
some
about it.
flexibility, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I see. What I was looking at was actually using the store the way it is, only instead of having it pointing to a photo item, to actually have the link in there, the Google link in there. But that's quite
Yeah.
convoluted.
Yes, and as you said, that gives you the security of only giving it to the people you want it, then, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it uses what's already there in terms of authorities. So anyway, I'll carry on looking at that as an option.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, does anybody want to talk about anything else?
I found out why that instructor cost disappeared. It shouldn't have been there in the first place. No, I had only intended instructor cost to be on standard groups.
Ah,
That may be a mistake, I don't know, but that's what I had intended. So I hadn't filtered it out in the ad page.
right. Okay. So if we had a standard group, then
it will be there. No, the instructor cost shouldn't have appeared for a payment group.
no.
For me, well, I don't know whether that makes sense having an instructor on a payment group. I don't think it does.
No. Unless you're employing a guide.
Yes, that's yeah.
Anyway,
But we don't show the cost of the bus on the payment group either, do we? So
no, you don't.
no.
Right.
Okay.
So there is one other thing in 14.2 at the moment, and that is the sharp-eyed amongst you will have noticed, and Alan's missed it completely, which is unusual. There's a new icon in the
Yeah.
Ooh.
on the group there, and that is sending out SMS text.
Oh, right.
So a group leader can, so if they click on it, they can send a text to a person who's got a valid telephone number.
Is that a switch?
Does the icon only appear if you switch SMS?
Yeah. There's a
Yeah,
switch.
okay.
There's a switch. Yeah. Because so you, it works in the same way as the other ones. You stick your stick
I
your-
don't. Incidentally, Chris, I don't get that, and no, doesn't get that far.
doesn't get the what?
Doesn't get to that group SMS. It doesn't get to that page when I say define content.
No, because I noticed you don't have any valid telephone numbers in your
I
test.
have, yeah, I have now.
Well,
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that later.
yeah, it's so. Anyway, it's
Chris, when you say valid telephone numbers, is this picking up the telephone number of the group member?
Yeah,
Yes.
07. Yeah.
Ah, right. So it's got to be a mobile number.
Yes.
it has to be a mobile. Well, I don't know that it has to. I've set it up
Because I was going to say you're going to end up with people with their landline numbers getting those blooming horrible recorded messages that are
no.
text over the landline. They're awful. And that's from somebody who worked for BT. They're
Oh,
bloody
it's highly,
awful.
I must admit, it's highly likely if they're that technophobe, they probably has just got a landline anyway. But
Yeah.
So yeah, what it does, it looks in the mobile site first, and if it doesn't find one there, it looks in the ordinary telephone numbers, but it makes certain it starts 07. If it doesn't start 07, it ignores it, and so if I think, let's see if I do it again on this.
But the telephone number's not called primary and secondary, or have they been renamed?
no. Well, it depends which bit you look at. Actually, sometimes it does say
Oh.
mobile.
You can call them what you like, can't you? You've got the option to label define the labels as you want to.
What
But
were
so
the names of them?
let's see. It looks at one anyway. Looks at the secondary, if you like, and looks for the O. It'll take that, and then if there's not one there, it'll look for an 07 in the primary. Now, this is just a well, it's more than a mock-up. It works, but it's a it will send text out to. Now, you will notice there's only a checkbox against this one, so you can't select that one to send one because he hasn't got a valid number. He hasn't got a valid number. Whereas,
If you click contact only group members, Chris, just click it. Why does it tick the old brownie?
because it's gone into the wrong place. So this has gone back to emails.
Ah, that's what I wondered. I wondered if it was hybrid, so it would send.
No. It's as I say, this has just been done. So
Yeah.
it's I think Brendan's having a look at it over in Causeway.
Yeah, well, I'll look at it as well.
Yeah, and
'Cause that's what I did immediately, you see, and I thought, is it going to send an SMS to people who haven't got email?
no, it's not. No, it's not. It's so it's still in the process. I think probably there is a need for more selection than we've got at the moment, because basically you either switch it on or switch it off. But I suspect there are, if you do use it, there are groups that you wouldn't want to
Let loose with it.
allow them to send out 120
That's right.
things at about 3p a time. It's sort of it's an expensive way of
I
doing
was
it.
going to ask that, Chris. Where does the charge go?
You've got to set it's like Stripe. You set your own account up.
Right.
and you have to pre-populate it, Alan. So it's pretty safe.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, yes, that's right. You're not. It's not open ended. If you buy a certain number of texts.
So it's on a prepay version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, it's you know, I think there's some more stuff to build into it, but it basically works anyway at the moment. So which
Where are we with 14 in general, Chris?
well, I would think.
Not had anything go wrong recently.
It sounds like you've had a lot of things going wrong.
Well,
in the
I've had a few little niggles,
Yes,
but nothing,
there were
nothing
some
major.
niggles.
Yeah.
I think most of the niggles have all been dealt with now. I haven't seen anything for a while, so
No, I
if
definitely
anybody wants to go to 14.2 or 14.1, probably better with that, or not 14.2 if you want to, but it's not going to do any damage, any harm. But it looks like there's some few things to tidy up there. You can switch it off if you don't want the. Well, you can switch. Actually, there's only two things in 14.2. One is the SMS, and the other is the is yours, Laurie, is the
Yeah.
instructor cost. So, and both can be switched off. So
Yeah.
might,
Well, they'll be off by default, presumably.
yes, you got
Yes.
to switch them on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah.
if anybody wants to go to 14 now, then let me know, and I'll pop it across. And
Yeah. Okay. Do you normally do it at a weekend, don't you?
I'm flexible, really. No, I'm whenever you want.
Okay. Right.
Not on Monday mornings, because Monday mornings is golf morning. But
Right.
Yeah.
Before everyone, I think you're coming to an end here, Chris. Before everybody legs it, I've got a question to ask that would probably only be of interest to people that are people like Neil that are using card readers, SumUp in particular. And I've got a question for you as to whether something might work, but other people that use SumUp might have more information than I've managed to glean so far. Do you want me to ask it now?
yeah, why not? And
Right. Okay. What it is, guys, we are looking at taking on card readers. But the idea originally was to use it for membership payments. Now that's all very well. However, when you take Stripe payments via the normal route using the credit card icon on the screen, or the member does their own payment via the credit card icon on the screen, it updates the membership renewal system by sending webhooks back from Stripe into the U3A web system. So it actually updates and says, this member's paid their money, renew their membership for next year. If you use a machine like SumUp or whatever, any card reader, I presume, is probably more or less the same. When they tap their little card on the card reader, yes, it takes the payment, but it won't feed back into our system. But as far as I can make out, and Neil, you might be able to tell me whether I'm right with this, it looks as though within SumUp, you can download reports in CSV format. Is that correct?
I don't know. I haven't done it.
Right. Okay. Well, it looks as though you can.
Yeah.
My question was, Chris, if you can do that, so let's say you took 50 payments of membership and what have you in a day, and you then took the CSV file from SumUp, is there any way that U3A Web could take an import of a CSV file to update the system? It will be a manual import.
I would like that as well.
tell
Not for SumUp, but in general.
tell us a bit more about SumUp. What is that?
Right. Well, SumUp is the actual card reader. So what it is, you've got when you walk into a shop, you tap your card on a little machine and it takes your payment. Yeah. Your credit card.
Yeah.
Okay. And it links into, possibly it can link into your mobile, or it can have an integral SIM card. So it pays into a SumUp account. Is that correct, Neil?
Yeah, a bit like Stripe in a way. Yeah.
Right. So it pays into an account which is run by SumUp. But SumUp, as far as I can make out, don't run anything like webhooks. But what you can do is you can go into a dashboard for SumUp which is the company that supplies this little card reader thing, you can go into a dashboard with them on the web and you can download a CSV file on what payments have been made through a particular period. So you could do it for a day, a week, whatever you wanted to do, and that will download what payments have been made. Now, when you take a payment from a person using SumUp, right, what happens is, because it's linked to a mobile, let's say, or a device of some description where you can put in an identifier. So you put in, okay, you're paying us £10. Okay, so you put the amount in, and you can then put an identifier in another field. So I'm thinking for membership, you could put in, I don't know, 102567, whatever their membership number is. So when you download this CSV report, I'm hoping it would have this identifier within it.
Who puts the identifier in?
Whoever's actually taking the amount, because this is a face-to-face thing. Okay, so you're sitting there. Let's say it was for an event. Okay, you're running a quiz night or whatever, and you're taking money on the door. You'd have this little SumUp machine sitting there. And as people walked in, you would say to them, "Okay, what's your membership number? 12345." So you will put in the cost of entry is £5, and this is member number 12345 paying it. They tap their card, payment is taken. Okay, are we with it so far? So payment is taken, and what I'm assuming is when you got to the end of the night, you would be able to say to SumUp or whoever your provider is, give me a CSV file that tells me who's paid.
Yeah.
And the question then is more for membership, not so much for an event, but more for membership. If you can download this CSV file with, I don't know, member number 12345 has paid their membership fee for this year, so has member 67890 paid for this year, you would download those two membership numbers, okay, within the CSV file. What I'm wondering is if there is any way that there could be provision in U3A Web that we've got a lovely little CSV file.
Yeah.
Could we then import that into the membership database to say this person has renewed?
Yes.
Oh God, I've just done all that, and your one word answer is yes.
Yes. But, however, I would say that that's a bit sort of
Clunky.
yeah, and prone to error. I think my number's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 6? It's 6, and they've got the wrong one in. Why?
Yeah, there's no
why-
validation, is there?
Yes. If you go into a petrol station and you sort of say, right, I'm pump number 6.
Yeah.
They do something on their own computer, and then it goes across into the card system, and you tap your card, and it goes back to their computer system again.
Right. Yeah.
And it knows who you are. All that information has gone.
How does it know who I am?
Well, because you tap the card. But
Yeah, but surely it's only taking my card number. It's not actually taking my name and address.
Yeah, but if you went to,
It knows your name.
hang on. If you went in and said, right, here you are, Peter Jones, right? So in the computer, you type in Peter Jones. It then communicates with the card machine and puts up, right, you owe £15. Click.
Right.
Like when you go in for your petrol, you sort of,
Okay.
I am pump number 6. He types in pump number 6, and that sends across to the payment machine.
Right. Okay.
£106 or whatever it was to fill up your car, isn't
Right.
it?
Well, I am in the infancy, Chris, of looking at this, so I do need to get hold of SumUp or whoever. I mean, SumUp's looking the favourite at the moment, but I'm going to try and get hold of them and find out what information you can download as a CSV file. But if it goes on name, my problem is how many John Joneses has one U3A got? How
No.
many-
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that what you do is that you're sitting there taking payments. Peter Jones comes up to you and you say, right, Peter Jones, put in there comes his information. Then you say, right, okay, now you can pay.
Yeah.
You're verifying him before he pays, aren't you? You're saying
Yes.
And so he goes click, and that then sends back to the computer, he's paid. And that's it. You don't
Right,
need more, do you? I mean, you don't need anything else because it's come straight back to the thing that you know he's paid.
So what you're saying is because you're doing it in person, you will get his record up. Are
Yep.
you saying that there will be a link somewhere on his record page that you could click the link saying paid by tap and pay or whatever?
Yes, that's right, and that would then, with the card machine sitting alongside you, it would communicate with it and say, right, I want, tap that, and you'd have £16 or £23.
Okay.
That's how petrol stations work, don't they? That's
Okay.
how.
You're coming at it from a different direction. That doesn't sound like a bad idea, Chris.
Well, I think it's much more technically safe than asking somebody what it
To
is.
upload a CSV.
Less prone to error, I would say.
What the number
Okay.
is.
Well, you'd have to have the U3A web open because most of them will say, I can't remember my number.
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
Yes.
Well, you have to have that in order to click the button.
Yeah.
Which would send the message to the.
The only reason we're looking at this for membership payments is because we hold what we call Activities Day, where people that, excuse my French, anyone that's on here that's of a genteel nature, anyone who can't be asked to bloody do it online via the links that we give them where they can put their own details in, their card details and that, they turn up at Activities Day and say, oh, I don't like doing it online. We thought we'd come in and pay, and we say, well, you still got to pay by card. Oh, that's okay, but I just don't want to do it online. And you sit there and you think to yourself,
Yeah.
what the hell do you think I'm doing? I'm just taking your details. You're putting another weak link in the chain by telling me your card number. But to speed it up, we're thinking if we had one of these little sum up machines sitting there,
Yeah.
you would still have the people sitting there, and instead of them reading out their card number or sitting there and you asking them to type it in, they would just go tap, done, out in seconds.
Well, we don't do that. We say, you give me your card and I'll type it in. It's much more accurate.
I'm going to say I would think it'd be quicker
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, it is. It's quicker. And it's amazing that I haven't had anyone refuse to give me their card.
No,
Have
no,
you
mate,
not?
no.
Oh,
No.
we've had a couple when we tried to do that.
Well, go
I'm not
away.
giving you my card. Well, exactly.
So we can have a look at that and see what.
Okay, but yeah, we'll have a look and see if there's any way that you could put a link in there saying paid by tap and pay or whatever. They
Yeah.
tap their card and it updates straight away.
That's what,
Okay,
that's what we want, isn't it? You want something
Yes.
instant, and
Yes.
something that would talk, by Bluetooth or something like that to the to your laptop.
Yes, yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do a bit of investigation as well and see what we're
Okay.
up with. Right. Okay, are we done?
Yeah.
So right, any thoughts for next month? Would anybody like to talk about for next month?
How about updating the side menu, sort of creating a new side menu item?
Yep. I could do on the side menu. Yeah, good idea. All right. Yeah, we'll do that. Fine. Right. Okay. Thanks very
Okay.
much, everybody.
Thank
Then.